destroyed some people. Yumi is a champion that has been banned quite a lot.
Interesting.
Surprisingly for me, but at the same time, it's a champion that does have a lot of self-protection if paired with a champion like Ezreal that is already very slippery. Just means that you're never going to pick up any kills on that bot lane, or at least it's going to be very hard for you while Yumi is just spraying out magic spells from her little book.
Yeah, and you got Luluman too, which very very painful to play against. Makes it very difficult to kill basically anybody, particularly in lane as a support, but can also be played top. Hasn't been too regularly played top lately, but it's a pretty solid ban, I think. And we're
Pretty
getting the first
interesting
pick
up here. Yeah,
you...
Tanky Cow. And, there we go. Like I said, Ezreal, of course. Taking away Ezreal's prime support, now forcing them to go into a Syndra as well. Okay, a very interesting decision there. A champion that we haven't seen very much. Obviously not going to be going to the jungle, but definitely a champion that we will be seeing in the mid lane as Zac now gets hovered over Benji.
Oh, looks like they're going for a bit of a...
There we go.
Pick comp over here for Macleans. We've got some poke coming out from Botany. I think the Syndra pick is strong. Syndra is an extremely strong carry in the right hands, and if Dante's on this Ezreal, we're going to be definitely something to look out for. So I think we're going to be seeing some pretty quite a lot of action in the bot lane, and maybe that's going to be where we're going to be finding the first blood. So I think we get a Alistair picked up. Yeah, Macleans really want this team fight. They want this pick. They want to just find someone and kill them. Whereas, in Botany, we've got this poke. We've sort of got... They got some picks here. Obviously, if Morgana doesn't manage to get one of those snares, Morgana's very good with Ezreal, the burst potential in their bot lane. So it's going to become Macleans.
It's a really smart choice as well, because that Black Chill's going to keep him safe from the from Tanky Cow's pull, from Shin Ramon's general stun, knock up, knock back maybe, and Benji as well is going to be able to just negate a lot of that knock up and perhaps even a pull or a stun or a slow. So.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this thing with the Swain pick as well, Swain could actually go bot lane. Has been seen bot quite a lot, not as a support but actually as the carry, and so there's a bit of a flex pick there. They're going to ban out the Yasuo and the Shin, and I think still banning out jungler seems to be like a big move by Macleans, considering Botany only has a jungler and a top lane to pick left. They take out Aurelia.
They just really taking out all the options for them there. Aurelia and Yasuo being taken out there just means a lot of consistent and high damage gets negated, along with a lot of mobile champions as well. So it just means that while Macleans do have all this tankiness and all this robust champions on their team, they're taking away all the slippery options for them that could do a lot of consistent damage. And wow, Volibear being taken out as well is pretty big, considering Volibear has been pretty strong overall.
I wonder if they're gonna take out their top lane, pick out the top lane here, or if they're just gonna go the jungle. I wouldn't be surprised when it comes to jungle if they pick something like Nocturne. They really want to get these picks, I guess, and the pokes, and so poke it out. And so, no, they're gonna pick. That looks like a top laner. I wonder if it's gonna be Tahm Kench top. It could be support, but that does sort of force Morgana to their top lane, so it's unlikely. But Morgana does have TP.
Yeah, could be this I'm not sure. I'm actually not completely sure which patch this Tournament Realm is, but if that's the Tahm Kench that we think it is going to be pretty devastating if they just take away someone like their Lucian. It's not going to matter if he takes away any of like Zac, Swain, or perhaps maybe even the Alistair. But okay, taking away the Camille or the Lucian, that's going to be devastating. That's a lot of damage, and that's a lot of CC that gets removed from your team, because once she puts up the Hextech ultimatum, it's going to be really hard for champions like Obsess or Danny to save themselves.
I think, we've definitely got a really good team fight coming in from Macleans. Towards that mid game, if they get a good team fight, it's going to be quite difficult for Botany. They're going to have to play fully on their disengage. Obviously, Ezreal's got a pretty good disengage. You've got the knockback from Syndra. You've got Black Shields and stuns forever from Morgana. And then, of course, there's disengage from Tahm Kench. Now believing on his ultimate rather than Olaf again. Yeah, they've got some great disengage here. Really good. So I think Macleans, it's going to be quite difficult for them to actually get a really good fight. Their comp looks like they're going to like a team fight, but there is a very slippery team coming out of Botany, and I think it's
It
going
is
to
very
be
slippery.
they're going to have to maybe focus on things like split pushing. If they can get a pick, it's going to be great. They can take a pick and then they can just force towers down. But yeah, I'm really unsure which of these teams. I'm Botany's team is looking quite strong for me. I think in terms of this just overall team composition, I think they countered the picks for Macleans pretty well, and I guess we'll just have to see how it plays out. But definitely this bot lane, I think, is where we're going to be putting the focus.
Yep. So these guys are gonna be they're gonna be head to head. Honestly, I feel like Macleans have a really good composition. They're overall pretty strong, but at the same time, like you said, it's really about it's all about that team fight. But will they ever
Mhm.
get to that team fight where they're so coordinated? Time and time again, we've seen that doesn't necessarily work out for the best for some of these teams. And if anything, with Botany Downs having the composition they have a lot of poke here, like you said, they have a lot of poke, they have a lot of disengage, and that might work out better. They might just be able to keep at bay, keep them off, and if Morgana comes in clutch at the right time with that black shield or with a snare, it could lead into a very, very good ultimate, followed by a very devastating Olaf just running through the
Mhm.
enemy team and just picking apart their tanks.
Yeah.
Because if he's got the right items, he's gonna demolish anyone. Because
Uh-huh.
Olaf is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and it's up against the Zac, and the thing with Zac is he can get some crazy ganks, right? It comes in
Yep.
from really weird pathing, it's very hard to ward up against the Zac. But when you're playing like in the spot lane like Morgana and Ezreal, it's very easy to get away. You see he'll come in, you got the Morgana Black Shield that can come up. Even if he does manage to hit someone, you've got Ez's Arcane Shift as well, can also get away. And then of course flashes if necessary. But I think it's going to be difficult for them to get any ganks there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see the focus going into the top lane, because if Camille gets ahead, that does actually put a lot of pressure onto Botany, because Camille can get the split pushing going and just force Taumkench to get out of lane. It looks like
Uh,
we're getting into game, so
yeah, we're
uh,
here. We're on Summoner's
pretty
Rift
excited.
for the national finals. I'm
Game
excited.
one.
Oh, buddy, look at this guy. He's going ham.
Just running straight in. Oh,
But
and
I think we're
yeah.
going to a quick pause now. I think there might be
Oh,
some technical difficulties the players are experiencing.
all right.
But shouldn't be too long. Until then, of course, excited, a little bit anticlimactic as we get into the rift. But you know what? This is just a part of it. How are you feeling about this so far? Because overall, who do you have as your favorite? Because Macleans and Botany have both shown that these teams are just so efficient and consistent. We haven't been able to see Botany on a LAN final, and I think they got through from the wild card that was played offline, not offline, off screen, um, during the interval between the Auckland regionals and the nationals.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I'm looking to Botany, and I think watching it play out, obviously Macleans have had a lot of really strong teams and have been on top. To me, Botany seem almost like a slight underdog just from the games that I've seen. But then they're definitely not a team to be reckoned with, because Dante on that AD carry is extremely strong, and I think they're gonna have to Maclean's definitely have to put out the A game here. So although in my head, I'm seeing Botany as an underdog. I'm not sure that they are. I feel like this game one's really going to show us who is the dominant team. But I think we're going to get some really good games, and I highly doubt it's going to be a 3-0. I think both
Nah.
teams are going to be able to take at least one game. So I'm excited to see how it starts. It's always really cool to see which team comes out on top, and then it sort of forces the other one to adjust and maybe change their play style a little bit and bounce back. And yeah. And I think yeah, for Macleans to take this game out, at least from compositions alone, they'd want to be putting their focus into that Camille. I think it's their best option. It sort of breaks apart Botany's team, because they can't really deal with split pushing so well. And if they're able to just like hold off and do that split push, it'll be great. But then the poke coming out from Botany could make it quite difficult to just defend. So we'll see. I'm
Having said
excited.
that, of course, I want to say thank you to all our amazing sponsors. One time, before we keep going too far and before we lose opportunity, HyperX, MSI, JBL Quantum, you guys are the goats. Of course, this entire league is powered by MSI. But in addition to that, I just want to say thank you to Asura, who are writing some amazing articles for our players and for this league as well. In addition to the New Zealand ESF, who are supporting and sanctioning this league. Of course, Playtech, who provided all the PCs that players have been using live on stage and, well, not stage, but, you know, live at LAN. And for all of us broadcasting this, of course, as well. So, we are now live on the Rift, back at it, and we have Tenki Cow now in the bot lane. An interesting decision, as a lot of these roles are being swapped around. I'm not sure if this is permanent or if they just
it looks like I was saying, like Swain can be sent bot, and the Swain Alistair combo can be quite devastating. You're just stacking up those holes onto Swain in the early game, and then putting Lucian mid. That's it is quite interesting. Maybe they feel confident putting Lucian up against the Syndra here. It's not too surprising. I've seen a lot of Swain's bot, but I think I was expecting Swain mid.
So can we just like, acknowledge that the Lorax is the Camille this time and not actually the AD carry? The flexibility of this team is mind-boggling. I no longer know if they are in set roles or if they're simply playing to their strengths in any circumstance, which enables them to be so flexible and to be so versatile at all times, playing in the compositions like this where Lucian has gone mid and we've got the Swain down bot lane as well. This is enabling them to play so differently, but having said that, Lorax is having an okay time against Danny, taking a little bit of damage, but it's still quite early. It's only level 1, we still don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, he gets that level 2 first. I wonder if he's going to jump in here. He's going to try, no, doesn't quite get it. I think putting the Lorax on Camille is actually a really great idea because, you know, used to playing the carry roles and putting him up in that top lane, and like I was saying, Camille being the focus you're probably going to want in this game, it's great. You know, pot the person that's used to being the carry in that top lane. Clearly he's comfortable there. It is really cool to see them swapping up the lanes just to sort of maybe throw Botany off a little bit as well, so that they're not really sure where they're going to go, having these flex picks so that they aren't able to just counter them.
Yeah, Tenki really good dropping quite low. Yeah, he's really dropping quite low, but he's got some sustain coming his way later on. And of course, as the game progresses with Carrion, but at the moment has to play under his tower. Not exactly the healthiest, but there we go. Look, he's healing back up already.
Yeah, the jungler is just sort of pretty standard rotations here. No invades. Just going.
Oh my gosh! Right under the tower as well. Alistair picks up that first blood using trample, I believe, just because it came after. But wow, just goes to show that the small damage from the trample actually makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that was just slightly out of position there. Burger unfortunately does get caught there, but that's really big.
Wow, okay, Shen Ramen jumps out of the way, but here we go, Benji to save the day. Over the wall and right next to each other, Benji knocks them both up. Obsessed goes down, and Dilma T's facing off against the gooey man himself, taking a whole bunch of damage. He tries to heal it up, but he has a flash out of there just as backup arrives, and oh no, it's flipped again. Back to back, they just flip the tables one more time, and Dilma T picks up a nice double for himself. And a teleport coming in to save. It's not a double. Okay, so it's not a double, but it is a teleport to save the Zac. And it's not over. Shin Ramen came back for another fight. Wow, what is happening here? Like,
yeah, that was insane. I think started off really good there for Macleans. They came in, they got that big gank off. Unfortunately, I think Benji decided to hang around a little bit too long. Didn't realize that Booger had come up from the bot lane. Well, actually, probably walked straight there from base, and ended up making it a hard time. Does lose the passive. Doesn't quite die for it because of Camille's TP. But then Camille's TP cost her life in that top lane. So. Yeah.
Was it really worth it? As he jumped both onto this Tom Kench, a whole bunch of damage, and Benji just makes it out of there by picking himself up. And you know what? There's a self-independent and self-sufficient gooey man himself.
Nice.
Oh man! Wow, that was super close.
So close.
It was either extremely calculated or he just got really lucky, because I would not have gotten so deep on that. Like they already knew that Zac was low, but they were like, you know, whatever. we'll just go in anyway. Like I don't have
Oh,
my passive, but we'll go in anywhere. Like just go.
It's always calculated. It's always calculated.
Oh,
He knew exactly what he was
they
doing.
foresaw it. They looked at all the 10,000 different futures, all the 10 different realities, and they picked the one where they survived. So call them Doctor Strange.
Yeah, they got it. So now they're up 1 kill, but the gold, they're actually up 1,000 gold too. That's quite a large amount at only 5 minutes into the game, or 6, I suppose. Yeah. And they're up in farm across the board outside of bot lane. We've got Dante managing to outfarm the Swain here, but they did manage to get that early kill.
Oh my gosh! Look at this man, obsessed, going over the wall, chasing down Tenki Cow, gets him away from his river. This is my river. That's my scuttle. Don't go near
it. he went to pick up his axe, but he slipped through his fingers and he couldn't fire it again. I think it forced him to sort of run back. Zach went in for the gank.
Benji going for the gank onto Dilma T. A lot of damage going down, but a lot of it gets mitigated by a bunch of minions. Shin Ramen cannot continue. He has to pull back, unable to continue that fight. Benji holds down a tower by himself. Surely would be able to do it as Syndra recalls, and Olaf decides to pick another fight. Overall, Prem 1 are facing some pretty interesting games, some pretty interesting fights right now. They are ahead of gold just a little bit, but if BDLD manage to pick up this Mountain Drake, that's going to make them a little bit tankier and give them a little bit of survivability, a little bit of help coming from the bot lane as well, coming in, taking rotations. But it does look like a couple of ganks go on top. The Hex Tech ultimatum goes down, and so does a whole bunch of CC. Danny, not looking good still right now. And he looks like he will be cancelled on all of his abilities, will not be able to escape, unfortunately, and they do pick that up. They burned quite a lot of abilities for it, though.
Yeah, Macleans managing to take advantage of Olaf taking that dragon. It's going to be huge. It's a lot easier for Olaf to solo Drakes than it is for Zach in these early games, so they're just sort of focusing that top lane, getting that Camilla hit, trying to get as many turret platings as they can for her, while Olaf taking that first Drake, and maybe they'll be able to pick up the Herald, but it's not quite spawned yet, so you're going to have to wait for that one. Olaf's looking for a gank. Can Obsess get in here?
Yeah, he will have to. It looks like they are fighting under the tower. Tenki Cow is going to go down. Bush soon to follow as well as 4 members of BDLD go under this tower. Oh, will they pick up 2? And wow, that was not a worthwhile fight. You lost a support and an underfed Swain to. You lost your Olaf and your Syndra. That was a bad trade. I hope they get this tower to make it up for that, because man, that was not profits. That was not stonks.
Definitely diving an Alistair usually is not your best option. Having 4 members, I think you're fairly safe, but just didn't quite go as planned, I suppose. And they did trade 2 for 2, and of course coming out for the side of Macleans there, because they get a free lane in that mid and a free jungle farm. It's very important. You see how much resources that BDLD ended up putting to that bot lane meant that Macleans were able to capitalize in their other lanes, and Lucian's able to get a bit more farm. Now is up 14, 13.
Danny gets knocked back just before he gets to swim out of there, and does look like they are going to just beat on him. He won't be able to do too much other than perhaps just try to walk away. He gets knocked up. He won't be able to do much about it. And you know what? It looks like the top lane is just... he's... Wait, what? Okay, no, he gets taken out. Okay, he gets taken out eventually. Like, I paused for a second. Like, is this guy going to live? No, they finally catch him.
2 kills now on the Lorax here on Camille, and we've actually got quite a good amount of farm on Shin Ramen. Actually keeping even with Dante here. So we're definitely looking towards Prem 1 currently. We've got a 1,000 gold lead still, holding on to that. They're going to be trying to get this Rift Herald, put that pressure on their top lane, maybe try and get that first turret so that they can start putting the focus towards the dragons, because they really don't want BDLD to be getting all 4 dragons, right? That might be one of the win conditions.
No.
For Botany here is trying to get those dragons, those early dragons, so they can force the soul. But I guess we'll have to find out if Macleans are able to do anything about that. And I think their current strategy is just focus the top, get this Rift Herald, and go from there. So it's working out for them. I think they're just playing safe. This bot lane is playing fairly safe. They're just waiting for Botany to make a mistake, I suppose. Oh, another gank top. So many. So many ganks in this top lane. They really want to put this focus on the Lorax here.
Yeah, they really gotta give Danny a little bit of a break. But oh my gosh, rooted under his own tower. It does look like he will go down. Not before they pick up one more for themselves. Dilma T gets traded out, and that might be a worthwhile pickup. I mean, Alistair's not worth much gold at this point. Actually, no, I take it back. He was worth something, and he just lost that bounty straight away. And, okay, Zach gets his passive popped underneath that tower. Lorax might be able to pick that one up, but they're going to focus on taking this tower down before anything else happens. Danny's going to take a little bit of damage as well. Tower will get picked up. He gets knocked up, and Danny, again, not having a great day, will go down under his tower along with it.
Yeah, there's some of the gold is being put onto interesting players here. We've got 4 kills on Bush on the Alistair. We've also got Obsess here taking that last kill on the Alistair for that shutdown. Unfortunately, Israel's Mystic Shot missed just by a hair, and so it didn't manage to pick that up, which that gold would have been very nice on Dante there, but did go on Obsess, so that Macleans could breathe a little bit. I think they definitely don't want Dante getting too much gold here. Because once Ez gets into that late game, it becomes quite a monster, and very difficult to lock down and with an extreme amount of damage.
Yeah, they are congregating right now though. Benji, sad that he only sees one chicken when he arrives to the coop, but they are congregating around this dragon now. They are trying to contest it.
Yeah, it's gonna be it.
Cloud Drake not that important of a dragon, but will allow Prem 1 to actually engage and enter these team fights a little bit more aggressively. They're trying to take it down, but the poke available on BDLD is proving to be very beneficial as they do a lot of damage. Wow, Broca Jr. having to pull back a little bit. Does have the Black Shield, but it won't be enough. Lorax picks up that first one, enters a Rampage, only to switch over to the Olaf. That is unstoppable, but will eventually go down to a double kill for Lorax, enabling him to carry as hard as he possibly can. Benji's healing it up in that little pit for the dragon, and I think an uncontested pickup here for Prem 1, enabling them to get their first Drake, and it's a pretty good dragon to have for that team. Like I said, will enable them to just be a little bit more aggressive.
Now we see that the Ocean Dragon's going to be it's going to be an Ocean map, Ocean Soul, and that's one thing about seeing the Cloud Dragon. The first 2 means that the Soul is going to be a good one. Generally, Cloud Soul isn't optimal for most team comps, but both Infernal and the Ocean Soul are both very good, and so we see here the Ocean Soul is the one it's going to be, and they definitely didn't want Botany to be getting that, so I think contesting that early is extremely good idea. Oh, absolutely annihilating.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Ezreal didn't stand a chance. Lorax is getting absolutely crazy at this point. He's gone from that top lane to that bot lane, and Shinramen is now farming up top, just because Danny's no longer a threat to Lucian, and he's able to just play his game as easily as he wants. Benji now waiting for the minion creeps to just come up to the tower, clean that up, and pick up another for Prem 1. It does look like Macleans are just taking this by storm, and even though it was even in the start, it is it's still pulling away towards their side, and even in the mid lane, look at this, the amount of damage going down on BDLD members. It doesn't matter if Prem 1 are full of tanks, these tanks are dishing out damage. They are not only beefy, they are dishing out beef as well.
Yeah, this is looking pretty difficult here for Botany. 6 kills on the Lorax, on the Camille. Just able to shove these towers down on the side lanes, put a huge amount of pressure on the map. You can actually see that Botany do have some pretty reasonable vision. Good, they've got a really deep red ward actually in the jungle of Macleans, which will actually help them out a lot, give them a lot of vision on where Zach is, which is very important considering he can get in from, maybe not halfway across the map, but it feels like it sometimes. And he's heading towards that top lane again to just really punish Danny, just completely huge knocker.
I feel really bad for the big fish, he's just getting absolutely demolished, and so is the rest of the BDLD. Teleport's coming in, but I think it's going to be a little bit too late as he teleports 3 members, and it's a Cinder. She's squishy, she doesn't really want to be there, and she's going to have to pull back. It's not something that she's going to want to have to keep playing against, and there's nothing she can really do. Now, if you look at all the lanes, and all lanes are being pushed right now, Pensa, they're not exactly in a great position. They're not in a favorable point in the game where you can say that, you know what, 17-9, that's recoverable. Albeit the fact that they're not like 17-9 the difference in gold, but it is 5,000 gold in difference. It's pretty painful. It's pretty painful to see, especially, and I'm sure these guys know as well. At this point in the tournament, you should know your gold differentials based on your kills, based on your towers, and based on the farm on the board. Having said that, I don't know how, but Ezreal, Dante has gone up like phenomenally in CS.
Oh yeah,
it's not enough though, but oh my gosh, Benji going all the way in, manages to pull them and knock them up, stops their momentum, and the teleport's coming in yet again from another member, but it's going to be Tom Kench this time, but Alice is there to save the day. Whole bunch of damage, and they are pulling back. They are not willing to engage in this. A little bit of damage from the Syndra, but she gets melted immediately as they all get taken out under this tower. And it does look like a double kill going down to the Lucian will result in a triple kill and a tower for Prem 1 Macleans. And if this game is near its end at this point, because these guys are steamrolling through it, and all BDLD can do, Penta, is really just trying to calculate what's going wrong, what can we do in the next game, and how can we recover this, because this is a best of 5. These guys are going to go head to head for the next at least two more games. And they have so many chances to come back and say that, you know what, we're going to win the next one.
Yeah, I was actually about to say that what Botany want to be doing here is just waiting for Macleans to make a mistake or go for one of those engages, because they seem to be playing pretty strongly and very aggressively at the moment. They're rotating and they're jumping in and they're like trying to engage. They're trying to engage on somebody and get a pick. And so if Botany are able to re-engage really, really well, then that's potentially one way that they're able to come back. And they tried there. Unfortunately, Macleans had their entire team to back them up. They were prepared in case of that. I think actually we did have Shinraum and TP in there just to even out the fight a bit, but they tried. I think Botany definitely needed to try something like that, but unfortunately lost all their members. Didn't even get a single kill, I believe. And now it's looking very, very rough. And I think Macleans just need to hold on to their lead, play safe, keep rotating, and very, very unlikely that they throw this game. But we do have to look at Dante because he is farming extremely well. His gold here is 6,500. You know, he's definitely where you want the damage to be coming out from Botany.
Yep, and it does look like they are just pulling up ahead now. Dragon goes down without a hitch, and it is the Ocean Drake, so next one's going to be Ocean as well. And they're going to be... it says a bully fest up top lane. Daddy's just not having... He's not getting anything. Lorex has like 600 gold. All these members on Prem 1 have gold on their head. BDLD, all they need to do to catch up is literally just take out Camille, Zac, and Lucian. Like, one of the three.
Yeah,
and I think,
look at that.
Like, if you can pick up one kill, like one bounty on each of these guys, before the next fight, the next big team fight.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna turn out a little bit better.
Yeah, they're looking to just farm as much as possible here. I think Botany, that they just have to try and get as much gold as they possibly can. They can get those items, just to maybe get a small power spike in the next fight. Maybe we have Macleans come into a fight without having spent their gold, you know, and Botany have spent all their gold, and that's when their best bet's gonna be, right? They need to try and catch Macleans out when they've been out farming for a long time and haven't gone back to base to actually buy, and Botany have just done a big buy, so they do manage to catch Camille out here. Oh my gosh, we get when Ezreal manages to take that down. It's huge, going on to Dante, making sure the AD carry has that kill, and this is what they needed. That's a huge shutdown. That's 1,000 gold onto Dante here, and now they're gonna have to defend this bot lane tower. I'm not sure how they're gonna be able to use that gold. They're sticking around that top side. Doesn't look like they're gonna be able to do anything here with this bot lane tower.
Yeah, it's just going to go down for free. They're not going to be able to do too much. Scuttle's going to help a little bit. Almost comes in for the final kill, or final blow. Does give it to Zac, of course. And now they're moving on into the Nexus starts, the tower bases. A lot of damage going down. We'll get that one tackle, but that's all they're going to get out of it. A little bit of a wave clear, but BDLD, what do they need to come back and change this round? Because 4 towers up, Prem 1 they're looking like they're going to just win this one right now.
Yeah, it's they're definitely putting the pressure on here. And they didn't seem to care at all that the Lorax went down. They just kept the pressure on, pot down that bot tower, summoned Rift Herald, and now Baron's coming up. I would not be surprised if we see a team fight happen over here, because basically Botany can't let them get Baron. If Prem 1 here get Baron, then the game is probably over, and Botany know this, and so here they go. Here's the team fight.
And there we go. We have a teleport coming in as well with the ultimatum, and it does look like they get locked up. A lot of damage going down, not too bad, but too much tankiness on Prem 1 right now, and BDLD aren't able to do too much about it. Dante does dish out quite a lot on Sadat Camille. Swain picks up a nice 2 juicy kills, and Benji is now on the hunt for Dante, who flashes out for good measure.
Oh, Tanky's going for it. He wants that Penta. He got the Quadra.
Shin Ramen. Oh no, just what a way to demoralize them. Absolutely demolished. BDSC, BDLD just being absolutely, I suppose, punished, humiliated at this point. And, sure, I mean, Macleans are doing their best to just win this game, but they're doing it in a smart way where they're not going to jeopardize any of their plays. They know that BDSC, BDLD have all the opportunities to come in and win, and you're not giving them those opportunities. They're playing this so smart.
Yeah, Benji has actually made some extremely good engages, found some really nice picks, got in at the perfect times. Dante actually had some really good positioning in that fight and got dished out a huge amount of damage, survived until the very end, but unfortunately wasn't able to take anybody. Almost took out the Lorax with one of his mistake shots. Very, very close, but didn't quite make it, and that did go in the side of Macleans. And now they've just got this Baron, they're going to go back, they're going to get those items, and probably go for an inhibitor or two. And I would likely expect them to shove out the mid. Mid's usually the strongest, it's the shortest lane. It's the strongest lane to want to take, but bot lane is almost gone. And oh no. It looks like Pogo was hanging around, maybe trying to get some vision onto that dragon, but it's not a good place to be by yourself when you're so far behind and your team's currently in base. So
yeah, not at all.
Looks like Macleans.
I just want to highlight, by the way, that BDLD had a majority of votes. They had 42 votes saying that BDLD were going to win this matchup and go to be the national champions. It's not looking like that right now. Of course, it is not to say that they cannot win the next game, but right now, I hope you guys do not have all your eggs in that basket. I think it does look like BDLD are struggling. They're finding their pace. Of course, they're at a point of the game where anything can really happen. They're slowly building up more of their inventory. A lot of them still don't have full items, and they only have a couple of mythic items available on that team that are really going to make a huge impact. I feel like the Gore Drinker is really not going to help the Olaf at this point. Might have to go for something else. Personally, item-wise, he might just have to be tankier, because he's gone for an off-tankish build. But that pickaxe and the phage is not going to really help that team at this current time. Sure, it might be an optimal build for that Olaf generally, but is it going to be enough for them as a team? I feel like something tankier, like a Thornmail, or or maybe even a Sunfire Cape might even be a little bit more helpful. Maybe a Force of Nature. I don't know.
We're looking at this gold here. We see Dante has 9.5k. It's still falling behind 4 members of Macleans, and so the only member of Macleans that has more gold than is the support, of course. And so it's looking very, very rough. And I'm really surprised that Danny decided to pick up Anathema's Chains, because there's, I guess at the front end, the Lorax was the hyper carry, but right now there's so many threats, and it might have been better off just picking up something that was a little more versatile against all the players on Macleans. Because right now, there's more than just one threat. I would even argue here that Bush is a threat. I would be very scared at that cow coming at me right now. So
he does have a very big cowbell that he rings.
Yeah,
it can be very threatening, massive threatening auras. But I mean, look, like you said, they're going right under this tower. They don't really care. The tower's going to go down. The inhibitor is going to go down as well, and so will the Nexus very soon. They aren't able to do too much about it. A lot of damage coming out from that Dilma T, though. A little bit too many sugars for them, perhaps. But as they pull back after they pick up the inhibitor, they don't want to force this. They see that Tenki Cal's already taking quite a lot of damage, not willing to jeopardize his position to give up that 600 gold bounty.
Yeah,
what a bounty to hold, by the way.
Yeah, but Botany is playing it safe, and it looks like Macleans playing it fairly safe too. They didn't want to push too hard on that, but no one going down on either side. Yeah, 0 deaths. You're on Benji here. Almost. I remember right at the start of the game where the Lorax TP to save his life. Gave up. The Lorax gave up his own life to save Benji's, and look, almost gonna be a perfect game. So, it looks like we might end up having something happen here. It's probably gonna have to. Oh, it looks like Benji's trying to get in.
Yep, and they are going to go into that team fight right now. It does look like they are going to knock them up. And this might just be it for BDLD. They might just go right down here, and they do manage to pick up a couple of members from Prem 1, namely Tenki Cal. But we expected that because he is one of the squishier members, despite Swain being a little bit of a tank himself. It does mean that they did identify that he can sustain himself overall long term in the game. But of course, picking up someone like the Lucian might have been more beneficial. They do get that bounty on his head, however, and they will be able to just sustain themselves a little bit. Maybe they're playing for the very, very, very late game. It might be something that they are looking at.
At this stage, I mean, any kills they can take, they'll take. It was 1 for 2. It wasn't the best trade, but only one inhibitor went down. It could have been a lot worse. There's no longer any Baron buff on Macleans, so they still have both of their Nexus towers. Anything can happen. I mean, realistically, their late game isn't too bad. If Israel does keep some really good positioning, and Danny's able to peel for him, and we get some really nice black shields coming in from Morgana, then we might see a fight turn in the tides of Botany. But Dante's just gonna have to keep farming, because right now he has all of the damage on their team, and it looks like Olaf's just there for disruption.
Yeah, his original job should really just be running it down straight to the carries, right? Just keeping on the carries, being really hard to peel for, and doing a lot of damage, and perhaps even taking down the tanks. But there are too many tanks.
Yeah, that's the problem. You got Alistair, you got Zach, and you've even got like Swain here.
They all do damage. They all do damage. It's so crazy. You don't want to have to deal with that. And Baron, look at Baron. He's melting. He's getting absolutely demolished by Prem 1 right now. Macleans are cleaning it up on Summoner's Rift. 31-11, a very demoralizing scoreline to be on. Prem 1 and BDLD are looking to end their first match today here their first game today for this matchup here at the National High School Esport League under Meta High School Esports, presented by Shadow and Victory. Of course, you should follow us on social media. Don't forget to do that. But the Mega Minions are coming in, and they are going to be pushing right down that lane. Baron buff to all heck. They are going to end this match right here, right now. I cross my fingers. The inhibitor tower is going to go down for good measure, just in case they pull off a miracle. But a lot of chances and a lot of numbers say that BDLD do not have what it takes to end this right now. The tables have turned too far into Prem 1's hands, and they are fighting under the turrets themselves. The Nexus turrets are going down, so will the ultimatum, and it does look like the Lorax cleans up Obsess right near the Nexus itself, right near the fountain. They don't care, they don't know going to step right in there, but they will take down the Nexus turrets. They will take down that Nexus itself, and they will finish this game. Prem 1 take the first match against BDLD, and will be the